Hi everyone, hope you're well. It's been a manic day of clients, so a little bit late on, apologies. I was going to wait to gather an audience. I'm just going to get your questions up from the other day that you were asking for, so I can ensure that you got what you need today. If you're watching, hi B, how are you? Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how you are. I'm just going to go to your questions from the other day. There we go. Jackie, hi. Cecilia, hello. How are you doing? Catherine, hello. Good to have you. How are we all doing? Are we well? Hello, Becky. How are you? Carla, hi. Good to have so many of you on. Bear with me. I had water. I'm just going to go grab it. Bear with me. Keep coming in. Right, back again. Apologies, had to grab my water. How are we doing? Adele, how are you? And Laura, how are you? Where are we all watching from? Let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to answer some questions about sovereignty, about embodying who we are, moving into the new energies. Oh, bless you. That's so sweet. Skipping your son's class. Oh my gosh. Susan, hi. Sarah, how are you? Rainy in Sweden, chilly in England, or in Belfast. Lovely. Saskatchewan. I also have a problem saying that, Susan. Saskatchewan. It's a great word, isn't it? It kind of utilizes your whole mouth. Most of our language is so lazy. All right, guys. So I wanted to talk about embodiment because embodying our sovereignty, but embodiment particularly because Catherine, you're in Florida. How lovely. Have you got sunshine there? Hi, Rachel. Laura, hi. You're in Romania. Lovely. Okay. So we're going through all these amazing, crazy shifts at the moment. Our identity is shifting. We're in between these dimensions, third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension. We're not sure where we are one day to the next. You know, one day you can feel really high, really in the high frequency of the fifth dimension. And then in the next day, you can be like, oh, you know, in a completely different mood. So how do you embody the changes that we're going through at the moment? And it's interesting, it's the theme that's come up for me for December, integration and embodiment, and really owning who we are. But it's more than just owning who we are. It's about owning on several different levels and acting in and behaving and feeling comfortable that we're so aligned with our soul that everything tends to flow. Okay, now that's not easy because some of you may be just awakening and going up from your 3D to your 4D. Some of you, and 3Ds, so let me explain if any of you are new to this concept and what's happening. The 3D space is one of control, one of fear, all the low density emotions that make you feel like you're under attack in some way. It's regimented, it's rules, it's control, there's no freedom in it, okay? That's historically what we've lived in. And the freedom that we've tried to create for ourselves has, of course, happened, but we're still have been under constraint of those. Your 4D space is where you're realizing that 3D doesn't work anymore. So the 4D is the bridge. And the bridge is pretty much like you're gaining the awareness, you're understanding that there's something more, there's something different out there. You might not be sure what it is, but you're beginning to find peace with yourself. You're beginning to understand yourself more, and you're coming away from service to self, which is the 3D. It was all about materialism as well, about what have I got? What have I got what others don't have? It's about self-serving. And the 5D is about service to others. And freedom and unity and love and compassion and oneness. And the 4D bit is where I see quite a lot of people in at the moment. So they're flip-flopping between the 3D and the 4D and 5D, okay? And it's not to say that if you're in 3D, you'd never experience 5D. You can have glimpses of it. You know, this is what entices you to awaken into the 4D state. So the 4D place at the moment is where the awareness is growing, where you're healing your trauma, where you're going through your karmic obligations, the contracts that you had, all of the stuff that's kept you held in a limited place, all of the stuff that's minimized you, all of the stuff that has made you feel that it's not been possible for you to be fully in your sovereignty, okay? Because we've always, in that you're adhering to other people's powers, you're not owning your own power, living it, being it, you know, your emotions are led by that. And the thing that I talk about quite a lot is a zero set point. I mean, it's been part of my language for the last few months and I keep repeating it. And the zero set point is where everything just flows and it's neither a high emotion or a low emotion. And when you get to that, you're really heading into the right direction. You're really beginning to empower yourself. You're self-fulfilling, you have self-compassion, you have self-responsibility, all of the things that you're not seeking externally, you're beginning to do it yourself. You're reclaiming parts of yourself. Now, in order to be sovereign, you have to have claimed those parts of yourself. I hear people say a lot, I am sovereign. I'm like, are you though? And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I don't believe I'm fully embodied, okay? And I've done a ton load of work. And I think that 5D, whilst I feel that most of me is in 5D, I know I've only got, there's a percentage I need to meet yet still to get in there. I'm not fully embodied in it. And how do I know that? Because you're going to check your emotions. We've got our 4 bodies, haven't we? We've got our spiritual, our emotional, our physical, our mental. 4 bodies right there. Are all of your bodies acting in full ownership of yourself? Because you might feel like you're acting in a behavior that's a powerful behavior where you're claiming your power, but emotionally you might feel like, oh God, this is hard, this is difficult, this is quite, and mentally, by the way, this could be, well, I feel like I've got fear of judgment about being this. So if any of you are feeling this, please let me know if this is happening for you. Then I can kind of guide you through and see where we're at. So let me know, are you feeling this? I've got a habit of talking to the camera quite a lot, so have some engagement with me. Let me know, are you feeling the flip-flops? Are you feeling that you're across more than one dimension? Are you feeling it difficult to fully embody your 4 bodies, right? Are you feeling that they're in alignment with them, or do you feel like you have a wobble with it? Because I know still to this day I do. So when I'm getting triggered by something, I always check which one of my 4 bodies is feeling that it can't fully embody this. Okay, so a trigger is always something that's reflected within us that we need to heal or to deal with. And sometimes a trigger might be that you're just learning that it triggers you less than it did. So it could also be a reminder. So how are you feeling about it at the moment? Welcome new people who've just joined. Lovely to have you. We're talking about embodiment, our 4 bodies. The 4 bodies being your mental, your physical, your emotional, your spiritual. And when you're acting in behaviors of, when you're trying to be part of, or, you know, really pushing, because it is a bit of a push actually, it is a little bit of a push to feel those easily, because it's a new identity you're walking into, it's a new way of being. You're collapsing all of what you knew before, unlearning all of those to really learn something brand new. And really being that brand new is not easy because it's the unknown. And though it feels amazing, it's still, well, this is really new. How do I become that? How do I feel it in all of my bodies? So emotions, I've always said, be guided by your emotions. So be really listen to your emotions. And if you're disconnected, you might not recognize the state of what a good emotion is. So I've just come off a client call and I said to my client, he said, I don't really recognize that. And I said, okay. So he loves mixing music. And I said to him, so how do you feel when you're in that passion, when you're feeling good? And he's like, oh, it's not automatic, but there is, I'm just, there's no time, there's no space, I'm just in it. And I'm like, good, that's what you need to recognize, because that's the feeling of embodiment when you're really in it. It just is. It just is, and so it is. Okay. I'm just going to read your comments before I jump onto explaining this a little bit more. So Julie, you're up and down, in and out, and Rebecca, you said, yes, yesterday I felt a little unfocused, so I left the energies balance out, bring higher energies in, and let go of lower energies. Yeah, so up and down. So when you're up and down, one of your 4 bodies isn't aligned. So that's what we're looking for. Which part of me isn't aligned and embodying this experience, okay? So let me take it back just a little bit so you guys really get a hold of what's going on here. And we've got, I've got a few of my soul school girls on here, and we are going to work on this month in a big way. So my new me don't want to have a lot of stuff around, need space. Yeah, so that's a really good point, Cecilia, because the new version of us requires less, because the 3D was very materialistic. It was very much about how much money have you got, what's your new car, what's your house looking like, look at me in my designer gear. And actually, as you transcend, you will realize you need less, and that means less around you, less consumerism, because that's what the part of the 3D mentality was. Let me buy you in and control you. Let me control your emotions, your physicality, how you feel, how much knowledge you're getting. Let me put stuff in your food. Let me poison your mind with media. Let me hold you in that space because we want control, okay? So when you then recognize that does not feel good and you start bridging into 4D, the awareness is, look, I'm not liking spending my money on this. I'm not liking watching this program on TV. What is it? It's dull. It's just not giving me any light or enjoyment. And when you get to 5D, like my TV's not on that often unless I'm watching something historical, something about the world, natural, the natural world, or DIY. Love a bit of DIY. That's it. So I'm not listening to the news. I don't know anything about politics. I don't know what's going on. I don't need to know, because I just am so in sync with the intuitive side of me, and that's going to open up a lot more for you guys. So Rebecca, what else have you said there? I'm currently going through a physical detox, definitely feeling the energy shift, and I put more focus on my diet and physical well-being. Good. And Julie, you feel lightheaded, like I'm not in my head, happens at night. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So the emotional part is you've got to really listen to the emotions about, does this emotion make me feel good? Do I feel like I am embodying it? And your emotions are the first thing that's going to come in. Okay. No, actually, let me just get this. Thoughts are, right, so I'm here and I'm just channeling for you right now, because I didn't write any notes for this. I just kind of went straight in for it. I'm hearing that the thoughts are always dominant in the background. They're running like a program, okay? And the thoughts are always, they're either conscious or unconscious, that then will trigger an emotion. So the mental and the physical will be out of kilter before you feel it in the physical. When it reaches the physical, we've got to a state of not fulfilling the first two, and it's because you're not fulfilling the first two that the physical happens. And normally when we address the first two and then we've done the physical, the spiritual comes into balance, if that makes sense, okay? Because it's the spirit that's requiring you to become in balance with your body. So the process in this is to pay attention to your thoughts and feel how much of your power, your sovereignty, are you giving away to the ego, the brain, the head, the old construct. How much are you handing over, and how much can you reclaim back? And I said it in a recent live show that I did. The ego can really be your friend. It can really work for you, with you. But I find that I'm not often in ego anymore, because I just stopped engaging with it. I just stopped. I just thought, do you know what? I'll just listen to my intuition. My intuition got so big, my ego doesn't even, I think it's probably only about 10% there. Whereas before I was dominated by my ego, 98% of my life was ego-led. And it wasn't a happy life. So we're looking at the thoughts that we're having that are creating emotional responses. okay? So how we're reacting emotionally to things where we feel like we're trying to physically act in them, but the emotions don't align, okay? So you physically feel like you're taking your power back with something, but your emotions are still telling you something different. You need to get the thoughts, the emotions, the physical and the spiritual aspects fully aligned. The way I see it, I feel like there's a light shining through all of my chakras from the ground up to the top that feels very aligned for me. And when I don't see that as clearly, I know something's off. Your signals for that might be different. So I'd encourage you to notice which of your 4 bodies doesn't feel that you are embodying in. When you get to the physical, if you're self-hating, if you're not liking your reflection, if you talk down to yourself, if you've got negative self-talk, if you take the mickey out of yourself, you're not embodying your sovereignty, okay? We all do it. Like, how many of you guys do it? Tell me. Like, we can have a bad day and really be down on ourselves. So have you got any negative self-talk going on there? That's an emotion, that's a thought, but you're looking at your physicality and you're rejecting your physicality. So if you feel like you're overweight or you're carrying a little bit too much weight, or you don't like the way you look or something, you must meet that wound. Because it is a wound. It's there because it's a wound. You can't fully embody, you can't be fully in embodiment of what's happening until you come to meet all those parts and be in acceptance of them, okay? I'm not saying heal all parts right now. What I'm saying is your first step is acknowledgement and acceptance. That alone, in the energy that we are in, can create massive shifts. So if you can just learn to accept, and acceptance doesn't mean, oh yeah, I really love myself. Like, you know, I know I'm a bit overweight, I really love myself. And inside you go, nah, don't like it. That's not acceptance. Acceptance is, I accept the place that I am right now. I'm not asking you to like it or dislike it. I'm just asking you to accept it, okay? When you can learn to accept it, we create a small shift of, this is where I am. And therefore, the next steps always come out. The next step always comes out. But what people do is they go radically into changing their physicality, but they haven't met the acceptance inside of them, and they're always unhappy. There's always something missing in life. I need the next thing, I need the next thing. And that's why you get people going on crash diets, controlled diets, lots of cosmetic surgery, that kind of stuff. There's no acceptance there. So in the physical body and how we feel about ourselves and how we look at ourselves, we must put down that stick that I call it the shit stick. Excuse my expression. It is. It's like you're shitting on yourself. You're just bashing yourself with a shit stick. You need to put it down, okay? You cannot have no negative self-talk. Negative self-talk also means I can't show up. I'm not good enough. I'm too scared to do this. That's all negative. I've got blocks. And you may or may not have. But by perpetuating that language, you're making it worse. So that means also not doing that. It sounds like a big old feat, but it's not. It really isn't. All it requires is that you need to be aware of your 4 bodies, and every time you are triggered or something comes up, which part of those 4 bodies, and if you've just joined me, they're your physical, your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual, is not embodying the thing that you should be embodying. Does this make sense to you guys? Have I rattled on? And because I'd love some feedback. Are you getting this? Does this make sense? I'm not doing this for the camera, but my lips are really dry. Bear with me. Can you tell me if this makes sense to you? Do you understand what I'm saying about embodiment? Because you cannot be sovereign until you own all aspects of yourself, until you have acceptance and love and you're bringing it back into yourself and you're actively working towards it. Does it make sense? And out of the 4 bodies, which one would you say that you struggle with the most? The spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the physical. So come back and talk to me. Let me know what's going on so I can make this much more useful for you. So Rebecca, you said, I always tell my clients to put a smile on their face when they're having a hard time. Even forcing it opens up the throat and heart and brings higher energy in. Yeah, helps balance. Yeah. And if you can't smile, shift your energy into something that's passion-led. immediately when you think of something you love, like your children, your grandchildren, your family, your partner, or you take your attention to something you really love enjoying. That's why, you know, a while ago people were like, had those colouring meditations. It's a grown-up colouring book where you coloured, because it was just like, you're just in a place of zoning out. It was just like a zero set point. You were just being. And that's an amazing place to be in. To Alison, it makes sense. Great. Makes sense, Cecilia. Good, 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 good. Glad it's making sense. Good. Okay, Andrea. Clearly, my throat is really irritating right now. So clearly I've got some work to do on this as well. Okay, so tell me which area of your 4 bodies, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, that you struggle with the most at the moment, and let's see if I can help you with that. Okay, so we've got lots of mental, emotional, negative self-talk. Thank you, Tracy. All right, so I would say that's also mental. So here's the thing. 3D world is driven by mental, driven by ego. It's conditioned you into minimizing yourself, because if you minimize yourself, you become more controllable. If you hate yourself, there's always a solution, because they can sell you something more. If you're overweight and they're projecting an image of something that is, you know, here's the ideal image. And we've been told the ideal image is someone that's slim, that's tall, that's beautiful. You know, there's beauty in all of us. But we've been told from a very young age that girls behave like this and boys behave like that, and girls are pink and boys are blue, and this is how you work, and this is how you conform, and these are how women behave, and this is how men behave, and you can't cross over, because if you do, that creates an issue. So when that mental programming has been going on for centuries, and it has been going on for centuries, what's happened is that we've believed things that aren't true. Okay, I'm being asked to talk to you about when we first came onto this earth. We came on as pure light beings in humanoid form, and I'm being told that every time we experience a traumatic event or something triggering, a part of that light was switched off. A part of we're light beings, right? But part of the DNA has been switched off, right? And often when I do work with my groups and my clients, we're always looking for DNA activations. We're activating the DNA that's been shut off through thousands and thousands of lifetimes, okay? Now, if that's been shut off for that long, for however many hundreds of thousands of years, this current civilization has been here before the dinosaurs, before the Lemurian, Atlantis, all of those, before all of those, this current civilization, that's centuries of programming that's been passed down from our bloodlines, telling us that we are this. Okay, so we have a choice now of acceptance to get to that zero set point about how do I feel, how do I truly feel? Do I really hate myself, or did something tell me that I hated myself? Okay, here's the thing. I never liked the way I looked, never, right? I was told I was pretty and beautiful and all of these things, because in my family I was the only one with green eyes, and I come from an Indian family, and I stood out like a sore thumb. Oh, look at her, isn't she lovely? And I hated it, didn't like the way I looked. Always brought me trouble, brought me abuse, abusive boyfriends, I got hit, I was sexually abused, had all of that stuff, right? Didn't like myself. I couldn't look at myself, because that was my that was what had been reflected back to me, right? But I was always told that, you know, as a woman, I shouldn't have a voice, I shouldn't express myself. Oh, don't show skin, that's just going to get you into trouble. Don't look too beautiful, will you? Because that's also going to get you trouble. By the way, you just need to make sure that you're just holding yourself together, because we're going to marry you off, and then you're going to be in service to a man. That was my narrative, okay? So I didn't like myself. I've been underweight, I've been overweight, I've been incredibly fit and ripped, I've been bigger than I am now, I've been everything, right? Literally, you name it, I've done it. And it wasn't until 2014 when I had major surgery, and I've got a massive scar on my body, and that I learnt what true love for oneself was. Love and respect. I've been hating on my body for so long about the way it looked, and it gets up every morning and it keeps me alive. And I'm breathing and my heart keeps beating. I don't ask it to, it just does it. You know, with every breath, I'm still here. My eyes keep blinking to make sure that my eyeballs stay safe, you know. Every part of me is working cohesively. I didn't ask it to, yet how can I hate that? How can I be hating on it? So I learned a really big lesson about not liking myself. And I actually, took me still a long while to like myself physically, but I accepted it. I was like, right, I've got a scar, and I accept that my body wakes me up, and I accept that it does its job. Might not like it, but I'm accepting it. I didn't even like the fact that I was here. So, you know, anyone who knows me long enough will know that I've often talked about trying to commit suicide. I've done it 3 times. I'm still here. Clearly wasn't my time. So this is what I'm saying. You know, it's not about radically changing anything. It's about accepting what you can today in this moment right now. Can you accept it? So let me ask you some questions, okay? So let me just have a look. Okay, so those of you that said mental, when you hear a mental thing come into a thought come into your mind, do you, what's your reaction to it? Do you acknowledge it as the truth? Do you question it? Do you resist it? Does it land in you and become part of your being? Or do you just say, and this is my tip, by the way, and you're going to think it's like, is that it? But I'd go, thank you for that awareness. And if I feel it's contrary, if it makes me feel really rubbish, I'll be like, but no, thank you. And then I just send it off. And my client before this said, how can you make it so easy? I said, because it is. He said, I don't believe it's that easy. And I went, well, have you tried it? And he said, no. I was like, go and try it, because it is that easy. When you consistently deny the things that make you feel rubbish, it makes space for the things that are really good. And I don't mean denying as in, I'm not doing this, I'm not having it. What I mean is when it comes in, that you just say, thank you for that acknowledgement, but no thank you. And then you move on. But you might not necessarily know what you want to replace it, but that comes with time. So the mental is being really aware of your thought process and where you are at. Okay? Tracy, I'm really drawn to your comment. So I'm going to ask you, can you please reflect upon your mother's language about how women are and what she felt about herself? And can you tell me, what did you receive from that, and what do you implement in your negative self-talk today? I just keep coming back to your comments. I just want to address that. Okay, can you just comment for me and let me know? You had a scratchy throat too. Yeah, I've got one too. Okay. So it's really interesting. Susan, you said, I'm hearing 77% of the light has been shut off. Well, it's re-emerging. Yeah. Yeah. I became aware of it and asked Creator if it's true. Okay. So yeah, Rachel, you can absolutely ask Creator if it's true, but why don't you ask yourself? There's a soul inside of you. Why don't you ask yourself? Ask your soul. Your soul is a spark of Creator. So when we go up to ask Creator, is it true? Is it true? Why don't we ask inside? Why don't we go deep inside of us and understand what the truth is? Because your soul doesn't hold a negative vibration. Your soul is always going to offer you something different. So if your soul speaks true and says to you, no, that's not true, then you know you're in your ego. You're always in your ego if it's negative. That's what I'm going to say. Soul does not come from negativity, okay? It's only pure love. So whilst I'm a big fan of going to Source Energy and Creator, continually going out of yourself as it appears to ask up there, you're not asking here. Ask here. Ask within, okay? Because that is just as good as Source Energy. It's a spark of God inside of you. It's a spark of the Creator inside of you. The answer's here, okay? So reflect within and ask within, okay? Because that's how you're making the connection. You make the physical, mental connection with your physicality, your body, because you're going inward. Your brain is understanding that it's going inward. It's disengaging from ego. The emotions go into a space of love because it's inward, and you're connecting to yourself spiritually. That's 4 body connections. 4 bodies: your spiritual, your emotional, your mental, your physical. Done. Okay? This is the kind of stuff I'm asking you guys to do, okay? I've completely ignored the questions that people put on the post before, so I'm going to go back to those in a minute. So Jackie said, I've started to say it's just a thought and I don't need to act on it when I know it's not for my benefit. Yeah. So we have 60,000 thoughts in a day. Good, bad and indifferent. 60,000 thoughts. And actually I'm hearing it's probably a bit more than that. 65, 67. Depends how active your mind is, apparently. 60,000 thoughts a day, right? Imagine that traffic. So I often go, okay, I see you. Thank you. Not today. Yeah. Okay. I've got that. I'll just acknowledge them, because if I don't acknowledge them, the same horrible thought will come back again and again and again and again. And I take the power out of it by going, okay, thanks. Not today. Done. It's done. It doesn't keep coming back, but you've got to be really consistent in acknowledging those thoughts, right? Tracy, you acknowledge it. And if I don't say thank you and let it go, it takes time. Yeah, exactly. Acknowledge it and let it go. And the whole thing, again, with my client was like, you make letting go look so easy. Well, is it really that easy? Can you just let go? And I went, well, why do you need to hold on? What are the reasons you're holding on? What benefit does it give you to hold on? What does it remind you to do or not to do? Because the more energy you're leaking in that area, you're not actually putting it into embodiment. You're not putting it into your sovereignty, into your power, into your 4 bodies. You're not being fully present. So what's the value exchange? Where do you want to be? What's more valuable to you, to be in that thought process of leaking energy or really bringing it back to yourself? You decide on that. Make a decision. And when we make a decision, the universe bounces back to us. Every decision you make, the universe will come back with something. It will tell you that's great, and it will give you something great in response. It will tell you that's not right, and it will show you why it's not right. Making decisions is brilliant. Make a decision, sit with it. You don't have to act on it straight away. Just make the decision. And if it's not right, change the decision. All right? Because this is feedback. This is energy, universal feedback. It's giving it back to you again and again and again. All right? So decision making and acceptance is really good at helping you embody yourself a little bit more. So Tracy, I think it was more for my sisters growing up, as they used to call me a fat porky pig, which was my nickname. Okay. So I'm hearing that it's a reflection of mother, okay? I'm hearing categorically it's a reflection of mother. But that language has built self-hatred inside of you. So I would really take a moment to sit in front of a mirror, and I think it's Louise Hay did some mirror work. I've just written a whole series on mirror work for a platform that I'm going to be part of, which is incredible, about self-acceptance and taking pleasure in who we are, okay? So I'll let you know a little bit of what I wrote in there, which was, if you were to really look in a mirror and look at your reflection, and start by looking at your reflection and look in your eyes for 20 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds, and acknowledge the feelings, see what comes up for you. Make the connection in your eyes, okay? Really look within. I just wanted to check something because I heard, okay. So my understanding is that your eyes come through in every incarnation. The same eyes come through in every incarnation. I just wanted to double check that, and I've just heard, yeah, it's true. Okay. So when you're making a connection to yourself in your eyes, you're seeing yourself, your soul, your true self, your past lives, your future lives, your parallel lives. You're seeing all of you. Your presence right here and your presence energetically everywhere. Okay. So make the connection to your eyes and stare at yourself for 30 seconds, okay? And then what I encourage the women to do on this program is to register the emotions, register the thoughts, register how you are feeling, and then start looking at yourself. Now you can be fully clothed in your underwear or naked, whatever feels good to you, and acknowledge yourself, look. And every time you look down at your body, You look and you register the emotions, and you register the feelings, and you register the thoughts. Okay? Because whatever you're being negative about in your body will also be reflecting back at you, okay? It might be that you've gained weight. It might be that your body is not the right shape. Interestingly, I'm just going to share something anonymously from a client. She had been a man in a previous life, and I said, I keep getting drawn to the breast area. I said, you don't like your breasts, do you? And she said, no. She said, actually, I hate them. And I said, this is really important because in this lifetime, you're meant to learn your body and yourself, regardless of what it looks like, because she was a man before and she's incarnated as a woman. So where you're hiding, where you're not looking at yourself, register those emotions. So whatever emotions come up for you, the best way to heal them is to find out, when did I first feel that emotion? Who made me feel that? You know, and I guarantee it won't be in the last 10 years, it won't be in the last 20 years. It will be right the way back into your childhood. So dig deep, have a little think about it. And if you don't know where it was, get yourself a pen and paper and register the emotion. If it's self-hatred, if it's low self-esteem, I just don't like myself, I can't look at myself, or you're a fat pig, as you said, Tracy, is the name that you were called. Take those words, put them down on a piece of paper. When did I first feel this? And you'll get an age. It might be, say, 15, right? And then at 15, why was I feeling that? Who told me that? When did I feel it before 15? Then go back again. And when you feel like you've got to your earliest point, you will know that if it is a childhood thing, which is probably likely to be, it's not you that's done it. Someone's told you, it's come from somewhere. You as a child cannot formulate that message to yourself. Your brain is not that developed to do it, okay? So at that point is where you're going to try and replace it. But what would you like to replace it with? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel connected? Do you want to feel beautiful? Do you want to feel loved? And if that's it, you must see that within yourself, right? You can get downloads where you ask energetic downloads from Source Energy or Creator and say, I would like to know what it feels like to feel loved and cherished and beautiful and calm and fit and healthy and all of these things. You can do those downloads. However, what action are you going to affirm that with? Because if you do the downloads and then you're like, still don't like the way you look, those downloads aren't going to stick. So what are you going to do to love yourself? How are you going to look at yourself and love yourself? So I said a while ago, I've got a massive scar, and I looked at it and I thought, do you know what? It's quite beautiful, actually. I'm going to really rock this scar. I love it. I'm going to go on holiday. I'm going to wear a bikini. I'm going to get it out. I'm going to get it photographed. It was photographed for 2-3 campaigns. I'm just going to get it out. I'm going to show women it's acceptable to have this. By the way, I'm not slim. I've got a belly. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show that too. Because you know what? It's normal. It's natural. We all have it. Men or women. It's natural. It's part of the feminine form. It's beauty. It protects my womb. It's the womb that gave birth to my beautiful daughter. That's the language I was using. And at first I didn't believe it. But do you know what? I'm so proud of my body. I'm so happy with my body. I love it. And it really, really does show. So this is what I'm asking for you guys to do who are not embracing your body. Go and do some mirror work. Stand in front of a mirror. See if you can embody that part. And looking at yourself does trigger the emotions, does trigger the physicality. And when you start meeting that and you become one, the spiritual element becomes in alignment. That's where it comes from, okay? So you can go all spiritual and go, yeah, I meditate and I'm channeling and I'm healing, but then your full bodies aren't in alignment, you know? You might have got rid of your trauma, but your physical body might still be involuntarily reacting. Say, for instance, you were sexually abused and you say, yeah, I've dealt with my trauma and I've got over it and I've done my healing, and then a man comes to touch you and you go like that. Apart from a boundary issue, he may have done it in pure innocence. Your body still has trauma in it, so you have to then address the physical aspect of it, okay? What's physically trapped in your body that you're unawares of? So there's many levels to embodiment and really stepping into empowerment and being in sovereignty. And when those 4 elements are aligned, it's full-on Wonder Woman power. and kind of Iron Man if you're a man on here. I don't know what the equivalent is, but that's what I mean. It's total embodiment of all aspects, which allow you to be in your true self, authentic, and show yourself to the world in that true light. And that's what I want to offer you to try and do. So if you resonate with this, I'm just going to look at your messages. Please do let me know. So Matha, sometimes I step back from my thoughts when it's too much and try to observe them. They are important, or are they important or not? Yeah. So it's nice to do observation, but I'm always guided by emotion. So if I have a thought and I'm like, oh, that's not very nice, I'm like, thanks, no thanks, off it goes. But if it's a nice thought, I'll look at it. I'm not just brushing it away. I have a huge awareness of where my thought processes come from, right? I understand where they come from. So sometimes you might want to observe and say, why am I feeling that? Why am I feeling triggered? Let me have a look at that. But when you're having 60,000 thoughts a day, it depends how much time you've got, doesn't it? So I always look at the ones that cause the biggest triggers, the biggest, would make you recoil and go, oh, why did I do that? Why was I judgy about that? And that's really annoying me, that post. Why is that post annoying me? I look at that and I'm like, okay, where has that come from? How do I feel about it? That's the kind of thing that I'm after. So Alison, how can I better improve recognizing my intuition versus my internal mental thought response? I've tried identifying yes, no responses depending on where I feel them, heart, gut, respectively, and use that a lot. It works okay-ish to find a deeper and clearer understanding of my intuition. Any ideas? Yeah. The reason you don't trust it is you don't trust your body. Okay, Alison. So if I was to say which area do you not trust in your body, your thought, your mind will go to an instinctive place. Okay? Go to that place. And so I'm hearing for you, it's a gut. I'm hearing it's the gut or the womb space, okay? The gut or the womb space is an interesting space. Yes, it's got an instinct in it, but the way that I see it and the way I'm being shown right now is boundaries. Is understanding what boundaries are and how they work for you, okay? If you're giving, receiving, and your giving, receiving isn't even, as in you give more than you receive, you're not keeping an even state in your body. Sorry, I've got messages. Let me just get rid of that message. There we go. You're not in an even balanced state. Okay, the boundary helps you get an even balanced state. More so, I'm going to say, I'm just working the belief system back. Past life belief system is, if I'm fully in my power, I'll be persecuted, which is a belief system that's followed you through at the moment. So what I would say to you is there anybody in your life that denigrates you in this work, that doesn't align to you in this work, that's limiting you? That's where you need to assert a boundary and build the trust back in your body. There's also a physical thing that's gone on in the body around the, I'm hearing around the belly, around the womb space, so you might want to look at clearing the trauma around that. The reason we don't trust our connection outwardly is predominantly, remember we're here in this lifetime, and though I said that's a past lifetime thing, it will be somewhere you don't trust yourself in your body, and use your body to give you signals as to where that might be, and then go to that area. When you go to that area, you can ask it, how does it feel? What does it want to tell you? What needs lifting? What needs shifting? Because, you know, your body, your physical body has to be in sync in order for you to feel that full trust, if that makes sense. I didn't trust my body. Why did I not trust my body? My body had, yeah, okay. So I'd been ill I had one thing after the other quite a lot of my life, and I didn't trust my body because I was like, it's never really well, so how can I trust it? Therefore, how can I trust my mind, my heart, my anything else, or even me to make any right decisions? And the moment I worked on my body and how I felt about it and what it had to talk to me about, that changed into how I trusted with my connection, okay? So for instance, when I had the surgery, I had a massive tumour that was like that big, like the size of a grapefruit, and I talked to it. I tap in and talk to it and go, what's your name? It told me it was Trevor, nice name. And I was like, okay, who do you represent, a female or a male energy? It was definitely a male energy. what do you need to tell me? What do you need to show me? What do I need to learn from you? And daily I'd go in and check it. And I'd have a conversation and I'd give it the healing that it needed. And that was part of me embodying that part of me that I didn't trust, if that made sense. So I would suggest that. But on a note of that, Alison, I've got a class on Sunday, which I will put the link to up here again, which is learning to channel, which helps you build better connection with your intuition. So we're going to be doing automatic writing, higher power connection, source energy connection, showing you all the different planes you can connect to so that you can find your sweet spot and go from there. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that on Sundays. The class is here. Hi, Emma. Yeah, staying with us. Yeah, you got that, Becky. Oh, excited to do that because you've always loved your eyes. Yeah, my eyes and my smile are probably like my best feature, I think. And really learning to be present in your eyes will also give you, I don't know what the correct term is. It's like a luminous flashback of past lives. You can see where you've come from. So when you start focusing on your eyes, you start recognizing the past lives you've been in. It's an amazing exercise to do. Yes, Mum made us stay at the table and eat everything, then called me fat. There you go, Jackie. There it is. So here's the thing about discernment. Is it mine or is it my mum's? Is it your mum's? Yes. So what you can choose to do at that moment is connect with any part of energy you feel like, universe, angels, source energy inside your heart, and say to yourself, I would like to release that belief system and replace it with what you want to feel, how you want to feel about yourself, and then act on it, okay? Energy work alone doesn't work, I promise you, because you're here as a physical being, so you've got to do some physical stuff to affirm that energy work, okay? Oh, thank you, my darling Tracy. That's really kind. Okay. Yeah, guys, if you're interested in the class, after this live, I'll put a link up. It's on Sunday, 2 till, it's about 3.5 hour class. It's a long class, you'll have breaks. I will also be selling the recording after if you can't make it on Sunday, but I'll also send the recording out if you've paid for it on Sunday. It's really good, really interactive, because I will set you a task and then I'll get you to do it, and then you're going to come back and you're going to say to me, I got this, or I'm not getting this, and I'll connect with you again, and individually I tell you what to do. So even though I might have 20 or 40 people on the class, you'll all get what you need from it. So it's a really good way of building up your intuition and learning where your connection is. So Alison, thank you for explaining the link between intuition and trust. Lovely. Okay, perfect. Yes, the link will be up after this webinar. Okay. Oh, thank you, Rebecca. Sweetness. Okay. Let me answer the questions that you put up the other day. Julie McKibbins, you said forgiveness and moving forward. So if you're not forgiving and moving forward, you're not an embodiment of your full self, okay? Your energy leaking elsewhere. Really go back to the meaning of what forgiveness means to you, okay? Because you can reframe what forgiveness means. Forgiveness does not mean what somebody did to you was okay. It doesn't mean it's acceptable. It just means you release the energy. That's how I see forgiveness, okay? Now, when you do that, that's the first point, okay? Accepting that it happened, releasing yourself from the energy so that you work into the process of forgiveness, and then forgiving yourself. Because you will find that when you're angry at someone else, there's going to be some self-blame there as well for you. So forgive yourself first, okay? Know that when the thing that happened at the right time because you needed to learn that thing. So accept that. So accept that and then set it free, okay? Then it will manifest into the forgiveness for the other person when you meet yourself with the forgiveness, all right? Like I said, we're not condoning if someone's done something bad to you, we're not condoning that it's okay. We're just releasing them from our being, okay? We're just letting it go. We're just letting it out, okay? I have a really lovely meditation for reclaiming your soul particles and your DNA. Some of you who've been on my classes will have done it. If you want it, please DM me and ask for it. And if you can give me, I think I might be able to attach it to your Facebook message. I'll give it a go. If you want that meditation, please let me know. I will send it to you, okay? It reclaims all of your soul fragments that are fragmented over any time, space or place. They're cleansed and brought back. Same with your DNA, right? And then you're releasing any other person's soul fragments that you have from any time, space and place, and their DNA, and you're sending that back. Then when those particles land inside of you and you become more whole, forgiveness becomes a little bit easier because you're reclaiming anywhere you've leaked energy, okay? So if you want that, send me a DM, send me a message on here and say, I'd like the meditation, okay? And I will send you the meditation, all right? If you're watching it on replay, please do that as well. Okay, so forgiveness, you have to do that piece before you can move forward. Allow that to integrate. Integration is really important. There's a lot of people healing and healing and healing and healing, and I'm like, where are you allowing it to land? It's not integrating anywhere. Where are you allowing it to become a part of your cells, a part of your energy, apart from yourself, okay? So really important that when you're healing, the energy time that I always hear is that it takes 3 days for things to settle, okay? Integrate fully. If you're unsure, just ask within, how much time is it going to take for this to integrate? Every time you've done a healing, every time you've had a shift, ask, okay? You'll hear a number or a period. Ask if it's days, hours, weeks, okay? And then pay attention to it. Matha, please can you DM me? If you send me a direct message, I will send you the meditation, okay? And for anyone else, if you put it on here, I'll probably miss the comment. So please send a direct message to me, please. So I completely lost my trail of thought. It will come back. It will come back. All right. So let me see. Okay, Samantha had a really good question. She said she'd love to know how to turn up the trust and the confidence to be who I am and be visible. Is it something I'm being guided to do on a daily basis? Absolutely, 100%. Being visible is you showing up in your true, authentic self in your current environment. People assume being visible is going out there into the world and going, hey, I'm a healer. I do this, that, and the other. Come and do my stuff, right? No. You have to show up for you, first of all. So before you become visible in any part externally, come meet yourself. Go back to your full bodies. Where am I not showing up for myself? Because if you're not wholly showing up for yourself, you're not wholly showing up in your purpose, okay? You're not wholly showing up externally to other people. So where you're denying yourself and where you're shutting yourself down or telling yourself lies about what you're actually doing, when we really get into the truth of it, are you actually doing it? Because if you're actually doing it, it will create a shift, it will create a difference, and you will then become visible. When I started on my healing journey, I wasn't working to help others. I went on my healing journey for me. I wanted to heal myself. I wanted to do what was good for myself. And I spent the first few years focusing just on myself. And it's only when I learned practices and I started working with others did it change, okay? So in order for that to happen, we've got to look at where we're not showing up for ourselves. And that is, again, go to the body where you're not trusting yourself. Look at your language. Where are you not trusting yourself? And if you're not trusting yourself, who told you that? As parents, we have a lot of responsibility in this lifetime because we say things flippantly. We also say things as a joke, but a lot of people will take it as read when they're children, okay? Because we don't know any difference. We don't know the difference between right and wrong and truth and bad. We're a soul that's just incarnated, that just knows we're here to be. Then it's drummed into us, this separation between good and bad and right and wrong and, you know, truth and lies and all of this kind of stuff. So go back to the language that you've been told and go back and start disowning the negative language. But when you disown, replace it with something positive. And that's how you start building trust, and that's how you show up for yourself. Again, go back to the 4 bodies. What would be a really good exercise actually is perhaps write a list of the 4 bodies, right? If you just joined, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, right? And write down where you feel like under each of those titles where you're not showing up for yourself, and put that into practice. First thing, when you are showing up for yourself, you will show up for the world. That's what happened to me, and it's happened with most of my clients as well. Okay, so next question. Maya asked about boundaries. How do you assert boundaries? Some of us don't like to assert a boundary because we feel like we're rejecting things that we should be helping others with. A boundary can be set in the most loving way, and if you have trouble saying no to someone, which I don't, it's my favourite word, no, 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 all day long, is say it with love. Thank you so much for the offer of that, but at the moment I can't accommodate it. Wish I could, but I can't. Just be, not even wish I could, just I can't do it at the moment. Thank you so much for asking me. If you've got someone toxic in your life, you have to limit your exposure to the toxic person. Simple. If they live with you, you have to decide if that toxicity is something you can entertain in your life or not. The hardest decision is to leave a toxic relationship. It's really, as empaths and narcissists, we're entwined, okay? But if it does not make you happy, if your emotions and your physical and your mental is collapsing and you have no spirituality in a toxic relationship, you need to find a way to get out of it, okay? If there's a possibility you can limit the exposure to it, then do that. A boundary is purely there for you to protect yourself. You've got to learn methods and ways of how to execute that. Now, in my family, I have toxic people. Most of them I don't talk to. Some of them I always steer the conversation into something light, and if I feel like the conversation is going to go somewhere I don't like, I excuse myself from it, okay? I've got really, really good about doing that, or I won't even entertain it. Sometimes you'll be in an environment, and we're heading for Christmas, and we are going to be with our families, and there's going to be certain members that you perhaps don't get on with. And sometimes it's better just to be quiet and be the observer and just zone out. And that seems like, why should I do that? But if you have a loyalty and an obligation to your family to be there, and you're in that situation, if you're not aligned, pull yourself out. If you have to be there, then I would actually just be the observer and just don't react to it. Sounds simple, not always easy to do, because you'll want to educate them on why they're wrong and why you're right. So asserting a boundary is understanding at what level does something feel acceptable to you, and how can you articulate that from a place of where you are right now. And do you feel comfortable articulating that? The more you get comfortable with articulating it from a place of now, that will become stronger. I was the world's worst person at saying no. I would take all the shit. I would do the things for other people. No one would do anything for me, or it wasn't reciprocated. I got trodden on, stamped on, taken advantage of. And one day it just broke, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore. It's just not fun. So how can I learn to start saying no? This is not acceptable. And I walked out of toxic relationships and marriages, and I walked out with nothing. We've got to have a belief in ourselves that we do have the power to have a life beyond toxicity, and why those boundaries are really important to us. So I hope that helps a little bit. So Laurie, you said, I think I get it. I'm pausing when I feel disconnected to my alignment and coming back into alignment. What questions should I be asking my guides? Okay. So first of all, if you're feeling out of sync of your alignment, I would really recommend you look at why you feel out of alignment, okay? And bring yourself back in. And it might be that you've outgrown a situation and therefore you don't feel aligned. It might be the people around you. It might just be that you're jumping between the dimensions that I explained earlier. So 3, 4, 5D currently existing in our world at the moment. You may be jumping between those as you learn to be the new person that you are, and therefore you don't know what your new identity looks like, and therefore you might feel out of alignment. If you're channeling with your guides, what questions should you be asking? Okay, so I'm hearing it's not a question for your guides, it's a question for yourself. It's a question for your inner self. Where am I out of alignment? Does it mean that I've grown out of it? If I have, what do I do with my new alignment? If it's just a disconnection, then you need to figure out what the disconnection is. Is it because you've checked out? By the way, with the Ascension and the 3, 4, 5D, you will check out. You'll be in, you'll be out, you'll be in, you'll be out. And that's all right. So sometimes it's a thing that's going on collectively and not necessarily a thing that's going on with us mentally and inside of us, okay? I think I've been going on for ages. I think I might have to stop in a minute. So Lydia also asked about boundaries, inside and outside, saying no in a loving way. I'm too nice. Unfortunately, very often unaware, I give too much energy away to people and things. Yeah, so you've just got to learn. The thing is, you do it, check in with yourself. How did that feel? Did that feel good or did that feel bad? If that felt bad, then what can you do differently next time? So emotions are your feedback. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. The soul guides you through your lifetime through feedback from your emotions. So your soul is guiding you using your emotions, okay? So when something doesn't feel good, it's not, oh, I just ignore it and carry on. That's telling you it doesn't feel good. So you need to do something about it. So that means, do I feel comfortable saying to that person, thank you, but no thank you? And that's the most loving way. Really, really touched you, asked me, but no thank you. I just can't do it at the moment. And then when you continue that message, you will soon realize they'll stop taking advantage. And it happens really quickly. 2 to 3 times of saying it should be enough for you to make it very clear to that person. Okay. And know that your purpose isn't to be nice to everyone. Your purpose isn't to give to everyone. There's plenty of people giving and being nice. It's not your job to do that for anyone. Your purpose is to ensure that you are fulfilled, because when you are fulfilled, that vibration raises up. So therefore you can serve others from a place of abundance, not from lack, not to self-validate, not to feel good, out of a place of not feeling good. It's about fulfilling yourself, so you have so much that you can, fill your own cup before you give to the next person. That's what it's all about. So I've got questions, haven't I? What do I do with my new alignment? Thank you. What do you do with a new alignment? Well, first of all, you need to feel what that alignment is. When you're in it and you're acting in it and you're behaving in it and the emotions are aligned to it, the purpose is always shown, okay? What we're really interested in as humans is, oh my God, what's in my past and what's in my futures? What's next? What's next? What's next? But we're forgetting the embodiment part of, how do I embody it now? Embody it now fully. The next step will be shown to you. So we don't always have to be ahead of ourselves, if that makes sense, okay? So really come back to yourself. Rightio, guys. If you've got more questions, please ask me now. I hope I've explained to you what embodiment means, how we get into the power of our sovereignty, how we become authentic, how we're becoming whole, what's going on externally with the different timelines, the 3, 4, 5D, what that means to us, how it reflects back to us. On that point, I've just been asked quickly to touch on a point of soulmates and twin flames. The energy is rife for you to meet them. The energy is really solid at the moment, but please know that if you're trying to manifest your soulmate, your twin flame, your divine partner, that because we are living in 3D, 4D, 5D, we've got many different parallels going on. They may not be on the same timeline as you. You may not be on the same timeline as them. If you're flip-flopping between all of them, it's really hard to always remain on the same timeline. So this is also not you. It's a reflection of what's going on globally, okay? So don't be so hard on yourself about it. Relax about the situation and just, when you feel them, just say, thank you, I'm so excited to meet you, and let them come to you, all right? It will happen. There's a lot of sparks going off in December already. I've had a lot of clients finding love and moving into that realm. So I'd really like you to just know that if you are waiting for that soulmate, we need to chill out. We can't be in a place of obsessing about it and being needy about it, because that's too much pressure. We need to just relax about it and be in the element of fun and play. They're more likely to come in, all right? Guys, you've been amazing. Thank you for staying with me. I've been on for over an hour. I really appreciate you, your presence, and I hope your journey of embodiment works well. If you need help, I will post some links above. If you're interested in the Learning to Channel course on Sunday, it's a live webinar. I will post the link. I would love to have you with me. I always have an amazing bunch of people, beautiful people, highly activated people. And you don't need to be a channeler to be on it. We're learning to channel. We start from the very beginning and we work all the way through, and I can show you exactly where you're meant to channel if you're unsure, okay? I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And sending you so much love, okay? Take care, and I'll see you soon. And by the way, if you want the meditation I mentioned about reclaiming your soul fragments and particles and DNA, send me a personal message so I can see you. If you put it in the comments, I'll probably miss it, okay? Send me a personal message and I will send it to you there. Big love and enjoy your weekend.